All right. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna just welcome you. I had this little music intro, but that's live streaming, right? Let's welcome Jamie, Lynn, Kiles. I'm so excited to have you here today on LinkedIn Live, on Facebook, and on YouTube.
Woo!
And we've known each other now for a while. It's been what, about 6 months roughly, but it feels like we've known each other for a long time.
I really do. I feel like I've known you for a decade or more at least.
And I got to know Jamie through Sue Talks, which is, I'm going to give a little plug for CWI, Connected Women of Influence, where I had a chance to work with her and she delivered an amazing talk. And I felt like, Jamie, I feel like I've known you forever, just through that short period of time that we got to know each other. And so we've been in touch. But one of the things I wanted to do is bring her on here because Career Biteables is about learning about other people's journey, about other people's career journey and how they got to where they are. And my background is in career and professional development and workforce development. And I love talking to people about what they do and how they got to where they're supposed to be, because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in this notion of, I don't know that I really want to do this. So today's topic is, what does it really take to be a professional coach? And I know a lot of people since the pandemic, right, moved from where they are to a different space in their career. And I know you have an amazing story. So I'm going to do just a brief intro here of her background. Jamie lives out her passion of inspiring others in many ways. She captivates audiences with stories of healing by using humor and transparency in her role as a motivational speaker. As a master certified life and professional coach, she helps women find the courage to live their authentic and unapologetic self, right?
Yes.
That's really what we're talking about today. Like, let's
Woo-hoo!
move you from where you are now to where you want to go.
Absolutely.
Um, and prior to starting her own company, her career spanned over 2 decades as a ATD Master Certified Corporate Trainer and Leadership Development Professional. She's worked with thousands of adults from all backgrounds. Jamie offers coaching, keynote speaking, and professional facilitation and curriculum design services through her company, Jamie Lynn Empowerment. And that's all I'm going to give away because you're going to do the rest.
What else is there? Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's good to just hear that again because I'm like, who is she talking about? Yeah. So where do you want me to start, girl? You leading this.
So tell us a little bit, just a little bit about you. Tell us about your background.
Yeah, so like anyone who goes into coaching and life coaching, especially, our my path was not a direct path to get to where I am now. I started out, managing tech support and customer service employees for large corporations, and then I quickly realized my favorite part about that was the coaching and development piece in adult education. I had a passion for that. So then I spent the next 2 decades as a learning and development specialist, working and doing leadership coaching with other employees and just really loving that. I loved everything about it, was very passionate about the curriculum that I wrote, loved the people that I worked with, and forever grateful for that experience. But quickly, I realized when the opportunity came up for me to leave the corporate realm that I did not want to stop helping other people. And during that career, I definitely wanted to go a little further than adult education because I was on my own journey of healing and coming to a place of wellness as far as spiritual, emotional, physical. And I found that I really had a passion for sharing that and helping other women, especially when I saw what it did for me professionally and personally. So I wrote a book, spent time writing a book, spent time speaking, sharing my story. As I worked in my career field, I started teaching and motivating others and writing curriculum for women who were recovering from trauma and moving into a different space in their life, as far as recovering from domestic violence, recreating themselves, finding a voice after healing. So I really, really enjoyed that. So again, when the opportunity came up for me to leave the corporate world, I jumped on it.
Hmm. Now,
Definitely.
you enjoy the corporate world. I mean, you
Oh
wouldn't have
yeah.
stayed for that long, but there was definitely a moment, right, in which you said, how do I transition? Or maybe this is not for me anymore. What was that kind of pivotal moment for you that made you think, okay, it's time to move on?
I think it was there were several things, but I found one of the biggest indicators was I wanted to go further, and I felt that I was in a period of growth that went way outside the corporate realm. And there's really not a whole lot of room to go above and beyond, the adult education within the corporate realm and go into like spiritual, physical, emotional. And I found myself wanting to do that so many times as I would grow, closer to these employees, especially women who were recovering, and I saw their professional lives being affected by their personal lives. And I just wanted to just, help them and, go a little further than what I was allowed to do in that role, which, very rightly so. That was not my role, but that's when I felt like I was outgrowing it for sure.
Hmm. And so you got this sense of, I'm outgrowing this, I call them like personas. I do feel like they're personas. Like they're stages in life in which we shed the old persona and we take on this new persona. And it almost feels like a moment of growth, like you said, that there's more out there. And
Absolutely.
And so it sounds like you kind of said, okay, I'm at that pivotal moment where it's time to switch over to something that I love and I want to do and explore.
Yeah.
Um, but when you decided, when that happened, what were some of the feelings that you got?
When I finally made the decision to do that, so so many feelings. There's a lot of um, the imposter syndrome that comes in for those of us that coach and develop others, but also those that share very personal experiences and use that to help others. And on top of that, I was starting a business, developing Jamie Lynn Empowerment, and I'm still doing that. So there was a lot of fear, but luckily I didn't let that fear overtake my passion. It really, the passion and my purpose were really strong, for me, and I really felt a need to just go for it. And so the feelings that I felt at that time were definitely empowerment, and I definitely felt like I was, look, if I fail, it's because of me. It's not, it's because I didn't try. It's me. It's not because someone held me back, or that I wasn't allowed to go for what I really wanted. So it was empowerment. It was definitely my voice. I could hear my voice. I found a new space in this life where I could really express, all the things I wanted to, in my book and my speaking and my business. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful feeling.
And it almost feels like the feelings of, okay, am I going to be able to make it or not? We're overtaken by the desire to help others. It sounds like.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And you can take that fear and that, even anger at yourself sometimes if you don't quite do what you thought you could do, and it turns into motivation to learn more, to develop more, to do more, especially when you're in your own business, running your own business. You're the one that can make the change. You drive the bus. So it's a totally different feeling. It's a different type of fulfillment for sure.
Absolutely. And so I know a lot of people, and in our circles, we're coaches. So in our circles, I do get a lot of questions of, well, what does it take to be a professional coach? And I think what the things that you're speaking right now really speaks to that, which is it takes courage and it takes you saying, I'm going to, the reason I'm doing this is that I want to help others. And so that kind of overtakes everything else, all the fears and everything that comes along with making that big career move? Because I'm sure you were making a nice, decent salary as a in the corporate world, and it's
Yeah.
that sense, right? Tell me about that. Like, oh, there goes my that salary.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, it helped that my husband had benefits, insurance benefits. So that was a big obstacle for me to overcome. You take
Right,
me on your benefits now.
right.
So, yeah, and it was just one of the things that you can do as you're preparing to start your own business, and that's part of your vision, is it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. You can start one step at a time. Putting back, preparing, developing your skills. So that was one of the ways that I was able to overcome that fear to take the leap. And then, the fear of not knowing everything, overcoming that, and the perfection, which can definitely is just a way of procrastinating. Just learning how to one of my favorite mottos is just jump and spread your wings on the way down. And that's exactly what I did. I had no idea what I was doing. I just used the skills that I had for, over 2 decades, and tried to utilize those, and it worked for me. So, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I knew everything when I did it. I was just brave. That's about it.
Amazing. That's amazing. And you also you mentioned a book. Tell me about the book, because you can't just say I have a book and then not mention it. So tell me about the book, please.
So while I was and this is another way that I was preparing to leave the corporate realm, was, I was journaling and chronicling my time on this recovery journey, over 15 years now. And while I was becoming spiritually, mentally, physically healthy, and still am a work in progress, I was, documenting all of this. And so it really just turned into what I knew I was doing, was writing a book. And I wanted to use my experiences, good and bad, to help other women. And so the book was, my book, Comfort in Chaos, my story of breaking free from the normalization of abuse, is a personal story of doing just that, and stepping out, taking a chance to become your best self. And that's what the book is about. And so, I published it myself, cover designed it myself, uh, you know, final editing myself with the help of a few other people. Editing is I appreciate what they do, for sure. But that right there was a very, felt like I was birthing an elephant. No, that's not. It was like, this is a huge baby, and it's taking forever, but it's going to happen. And it did. And it did. It's been a great medium to share my story and help other women. It's definitely been very rewarding. Highly suggest it.
And I think that part of the journey, I mean, as I study many successful people, what they say over and over again is that the exciting part is not when you reach your goal, it's the journey in between, right?
Yes.
And so it's all those life moments and life changing moments in which you experience the ups and downs of life, whatever that is, and then being able to overcome them. So
Right.
I hear that through your book, that's you explain those things, like what was my journey and how did I overcome some of these things?
Right. And, how did I get here? How did it affect my work life? How did it affect my ability to achieve? So I think when you read, transparency and healing are contagious. And that's one of the ways that I was able to heal and overachieve, was listening to other women's stories and finding inspiration and encouragement from that. And, you really have to, like Brene Brown says, you have to own your story and walk in it. Otherwise, you're walking around your story and hustling to feel worthy, which is what she talks about. It really is. You have to really own everything that you've been through, and the key is to using that for the benefit of yourself and other people.
Mhm.
So I think that's key. And that's really what it takes to be a life coach, is becoming self aware enough, I think. I don't know if you agree with this, but
Mhm.
to live your own best life, and to really do the work to live out your potential, and not be afraid, just living a life of adventure and curiosity, and curiosity about what you can do, what you're made of, what you can do for other people, how you can live out your purpose. So I think that is really key to being a successful life coach, is leading by example and doing just that.
That's right. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Um,
Right?
so now that you're in this space of, you went through this journey, and you overcame and challenges, and you understood yourself more, you grew personally. Where are you now? Where is Jamie Lynn now at this moment?
Girl, you know this. We talk enough about where we are now, but for the benefit of everyone else, I will share very transparently. So, my business is now mobile. My husband and I are we work remotely, and I have been very blessed to be able to take a brand new adventure of living on the road full time in an RV. It was definitely a big decision for us to sell our home and transition into this lifestyle. We pick up and move about every 2 weeks, go to a new place. But again, it's me living the adventure. I meet new people on the road, and I get to live a new adventure every time I meet someone, every time I take on a new client. But it's been a fun experience. We've been doing it for about 6 months now, and we plan on doing it for 2 years. And while my daughter's in college, for the first 2 years, just kind of traveling around and doing our thing. And we both ride motorcycles, we climb, we hike, we do everything we can to really live out our childhood again. It's never too late to have a good childhood. That's all I'm going to say.
I love that. And I love watching you on Facebook and all your posts. So you're definitely on social media. And so as you're developing and continuing to develop your business, what are you doing currently with your business? Now we know you're traveling, and I love watching you on social media, but what's happening with your company?
Well, right now, again, I'm always a work in progress, and so is my business. And so I'm using this nomadic life, and using the new technology out there. You and I have talked about that to
Right.
reach a new audience. My husband, he works in the technology industry, so it's really nice that we get to explore that together. But being able to use my personal experiences of hiking and exploring new places and having new experiences to also reach other people through sharing that social media experience and using those coaching moments as we're living that adventure, to share what it is that I'm feeling, that I'm inspired to share with other people, and to draw other people in to really gaining the courage to live an adventurous life, to take the chance to live your best life, because that's how you get there. So I have a vision for my business to really meld more into my personal life, which is that adventurous side, and living that adventure. So that's where my business is going at this point. There may be another book coming out soon, and it'll be more of a book focused on how I live my life now and what that's like, after going through that journey, that I went through with healing and getting to that place, and what life is like as a coach, as a speaker, as someone who just lives their life to help other people. So that's really where I'm at right now. That's my vision, helping my clients, looking at each client as a new adventure. That's a great thing in growing my clientele and my business, taking advantage of every opportunity, that makes sense to push me towards my purpose.
Now, do you use a particular framework? And when we talk about framework, is either theories or an assessment where you help your clients. I know we've talked about it before our audience.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you were a big influence on that, because I think as a coach and as a business owner, being a perpetual learner is just part of who you are and who you have to be to survive. So and thrive. And knowing which opportunities to take advantage of. So you and I have talked a lot about the Gallup Strength Certification. So that's definitely in the works for me. You have so many ways to invest your money, and so learning, I think having the bigger picture of where you want to go and how those learning opportunities will ultimately benefit your client, because the Gallup Strength Certification, it's used a lot in the corporate world, and you can talk more about that. But also for me, I saw that as an opportunity and see that as an opportunity to help others in their family relationships with their spouses. Definitely those that I coach in the professional environment, sure, in the corporate world or in their careers, it just helps you to understand how to relate to others. And it raises your emotional intelligence to the point where you can adapt. So I think that is definitely one of my most aggressive goals that I'm pursuing at this time. And then, also working with the ICF to gain the ultimate level of ICF certification. Even though I'm a master certified coach through the Life Coach Institute, I still would like to pursue, all I can through the ICF, because that is a big part of who we are as coaches. So it's a great journey to be on.
Right. And I always say, there were suddenly during the pandemic, there was a lot of change and a lot of people saying, okay, I want to be a coach. I think that's great. But I do emphasize the professional education and the training, because it gives people theory, frameworks, and something to use in order to make sure that you're on track with your clients. And so that gives, I think, coaches credibility. And I have to say that. My background is in psychology and counseling, but I still felt that there was additional training that I needed. So I did embark also in getting the certification in the Gallup Strengths certification. I thought that was important. It's been phenomenal. I know we've talked back and forth. So, and I'm so excited. I can't wait till you get certified, because we are going to go on the road together.
Yes, we are. First stop, Vegas, baby, Vegas.
We're gonna do that, and we have I think a date planned for sometime next year, and we would love to and invite you to come here to California, and me eventually to meet you somewhere where we can meet clients at one point. But tell me about how people can get a hold of you. What are some of the websites and ways in which people can get a hold of you and get the amazing coaching that you're going to be in great hands? I can tell you that Jamie's amazing. So where can people get a hold of you?
You are too kind. Thank you for blowing me up today. I appreciate that.
It's the truth. Stop it.
Stop. Okay, so you can reach definitely by email. My email is empowerment@jamiekiles.net. Direct email is fine. You can also reach me on my website, jamiekiles.com, jamiekiles.net, either one. You can also direct message me through Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can also look on my Facebook business and personal pages, all Jamie Kiles, and Jamie Lynn Empowerment is the name of my business. Any of those routes will take you directly to me. And I encourage anyone who's interested in a life coach, like you said, make sure they have the education, the training. Analia and I have both been through extensive training, and it's important because we are, just like your counselors, and your therapists have to go through an education to help with past events and recovery and trauma. We should have to be certified and educated, helping people move forward and level up and, be able to live their best life. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of free consultation with any life coach, and take that time to non-paid, or not to have to pay anything. Any life coach should be able to do that, that's willing to work with you to just ensure you're a good fit, and that coach is easy to talk to, for sure. And, talk to them about their professional hours, their training, and make sure that it's a good fit. And I have a free consultation I can provide, 30 minutes, and we can do that via Zoom, via phone, whatever you prefer. So that's definitely the way you get a hold of me. And you can also buy the book.
That's right. That's right. And you're going to be touring the country, so you never know when she's going to be very close to you, because this is national. So the other thing I was going to say, you mentioned a couple tips already. What are some other tips that you wanted to give the audience before we kind of wrap things up?
If I had the chance again to talk to my younger self, it would probably be, and I do have a young daughter. She's 19, so I have told her this as well, is that, really take time to live authentically in your work and professional life. I spent many years wasted trying to mold myself and be a chameleon of some of many sorts in corporate and professional life, trying to fit the mold of what other people thought I should be. But I really think, living a life of authenticity, living a life, finding the courage and the bravery to do that, you will come out much better, feel much better. There were many professional wins that just came my way just because I was myself and I lived my authentic professional and personal life. So I believe that can be hard for women. So especially women, and having our voice, doing the work to find your voice and stand your ground, set your standards, and communicate your boundaries so that people know where you stand.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And as we begin to wrap the session up, are there any questions? If you have any questions, go ahead and if you're on LinkedIn and LinkedIn Live, go ahead and type the question in a form of a comment. If not, put the question in the comment and we can answer it later, direct it to Jamie or myself or both. And we're happy to answer any of those questions after the session is over. This is going to be replayed and you can access it also after it's over. But certainly, Jamie is amazing. And I'll wait a little bit as we're waiting for any comments or any questions. She has a little quote here. You can either own your story and walk in it or stand outside your story and hustle to feel worthy. And that is by
Brene Brown. Yeah. And it really is true. You just have to own your mistakes, use them as experiences to help other people. It's exactly what I've done. And I will tell you from experience, it is a definitely, you will look at your life differently when you're able to look at those mistakes as learning experiences and kind of your toolbox to help others. It's an amazing experience to be able to change your perception of that. So, and we gain so much strength from that. That's where grit comes from, for sure.
That's right. And a shout out to John Penrose. He says, "Love this." Apologizes that he has to go at 3:30, but thank you for joining us. If you know anyone that needs to hear this stream or this video with the messages, please share it. I think it's important. A lot of people are going through life transitions right now, especially after the pandemic. It's been a moment of discovery and they say awakening of people and
Yeah.
finding who they really are and their true selves and where they should be headed, right?
Yes. And it's never too late to reinvent, right?
It
I'm
is.
proof of that. Reinvent, be brave enough to take a chance, and you don't know what's going to happen. Doors will open up.
Absolutely. So there are no other questions, but as mentioned, Jamie's information will be in the description. All her contact information is there. You can also rewatch this video for any of her information. If you would like to get career coaching, we can both do it definitely. And you can contact me also at Signature Careers. I'm on all social media: Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and I'll be here once a month. And I definitely want to have you back, Jamie, because I
Yeah.
think there's so many other topics we can talk about. I always love your energy. It's so amazing.
Girl,
Um,
we find so much to talk about. I can talk about this RV and what it's like out here in the wilderness. We can talk about your boys. Whatever. I'm game.
I love her energy. And so I want to make sure that I invite her over. So I had to get it on recorded here because you said you're committed. It's done. Okay. You're coming
Done. Maybe have a happy hour next time. I'll bring the prosecco. You bring the glasses.
Sounds great. Sounds amazing. Well, I want to thank Jamie today for being our amazing guest,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to have you back on. And you'll the audience will know when you're coming by, so they can meet us in person and meet you in person too. So we'll announce that sometime in the future as we're planning out your visit out to California. Okay.
Yes, cannot wait. The RV is coming.
I love it. It's beautiful. You're
Thank
living the dream. I'm telling you.
I feel like it. I
I
do.
love it. I
I do.
love it. Well,
Thank you,
fantastic. Thank
friend.
you, Jamie. And
Thank
we'll talk
you.
very soon.
All right.
Career Biteables, Analia Mendes and Jamie Lynn Kiles. We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
all very soon. Bye bye.
Take care.